Hi YouTube! In this video I want to show you the Mstar S700 that I got from eFox. I don't know if you have seen my Mlais M7 review video, but if you have, please repeat after me. Déjà vu, déjà vu, déjà vu. Comes in a blue box with some specs on the back that are more or less correct. Comes with a 5V USB wall charger. Of course, it also comes with a very stylish USB data and charging cable. Also included are some earphones that I never tested. Comes with a quick start guide. And last but not least, they also include a second screen protector. One came pre-installed on the phone already. This phone has a 5.5-inch capacitive 5-point multi-touch screen with a 720 by 1280 HD pixel resolution. It is an IPS display and it also looks like a one-glass solution. It has the MT6752 64-bit Octa-Core SOC clocked at 1.7 GHz. It has 2 GB of RAM, 16 GB of internal memory, and it also supports TF cards. It runs on Android 5.0 Lollipop out of the box. It is a Quadband, it is totally unlocked, and of course it also supports 3G and 4G/LTE. It has Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, AGPS, it also supports GLONASS and BEIDOU. It has a G sensor, a proximity sensor, a light sensor, a magnetic field sensor, and it also has a hall sensor which is used for the smart cover. It supports USB on the go, it has an over-the-air firmware update feature, it has off-screen gesture, and also it has a very good fingerprint scanner. It has two cameras, one main camera with a 13 megapixel output, autofocus and LED flash, and they claim it's an f2.2, but I believe it's more like an f2.8, and one front-facing camera with a 5 megapixel output, also a f2.8, and of course this phone is a dual SIM, dual standby phone. It weighs about 166 grams and it's about 8.7 millimeters thick. Let's take a closer look at the phone. We have the front-facing camera, proximity and light sensor right there. The home, back and menu buttons are soft touch buttons and they do not light up. On the bottom we have a microphone, and as we can see it has a very cool looking metal frame. On the left side we have a power button and a volume rocker. On top a 3.5mm headphone jack and the USB port. Nothing on the right side. On the back we can see it has the main camera right here, an LED flash, this is your fingerprint scanner. The back cover has a matte finish so it won't attract many fingerprints. We also have a Mstar logo right here and some speakers. And if I can get this open for you, I can show you the inside of the phone. There we go. On the inside we can see that it takes two SIM cards, one regular size SIM card, one micro SIM card. This is your TF card slot, and this is supposed to be a 3000 mAh battery, but I highly doubt that's true. Like always, I installed additional apps and games for demonstration purposes. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel, blah blah blah, you know the drill. Please stay tuned. The stock launcher is very fast and very snappy. I wasn't able to notice any lag at all. The firmware is extremely clean. I couldn't find any bloatware installed on this phone. Let's go into the settings. Let's scroll all the way down. Let's check out about the phone. Right here we can find the wireless updates, and we can also see that it's running on Android 5.0 right now. Next up, let's check out the languages and input. Let me scroll through all the installed languages so you can see if your native language is supported or not. There we go, those are all the supported languages. Let's go back. Let's also check out some off-screen gestures. Now we can double tap to wake the screen, and we can also draw different symbols to start different apps. Let's just give it a try. Let me double tap and it's waking up. And we can also test a gesture. Let me just draw a C. And a C should start the camera app, and that's working just fine. Let's go back into the settings. We also have the fingerprint scanner. Now you can register up to 3 fingerprints and we can use it to unlock the phone. Let's give it a try. We have the fingerprint scanner right here and it unlocked. Let's give it another try. Let me wake up the screen. And it's working just perfectly. I believe it's working about 99% of all times. Let's check out the storage, and here's the bad news. Again, the memory is split into 2 partitions. We have an internal storage and we have a phone storage. Now this is how it looks like. Let's go back into the settings. We also can check out the display settings. Right here we can find some S-View cover settings. Now an S-View cover is not included with this phone, so I'm using the one from my M7 just to demonstrate you that it's working, that it's 100% compatible. Let me just get it in there somehow, and let me close the cover. And there we have it. It shows an analog clock. We can also select a digital clock, but I'm not going to show you that. You can check out my other video if you're interested. What else do we have here? I think that pretty much covers all the settings. Now let me go into the engineer mode for you. Let's go into band modes and let's check out the frequencies. Here we can see that it's a quad band. Those are all the supported 3G frequencies, and let's check out the LTE bands. It supports band 1, 3, 7, and it also supports band 20. Now those are all the LTE frequencies. Enough about settings. Let's check out some Google apps. Let's start with the Play Store. Now of course the Play Store comes pre-installed and is working just fine. We can also test YouTube. Let's just load a random video. Let's see what we have here. Let me turn down the volume and let me go into the settings and let's check out the playback quality. And as we can see, it can play videos up to 720p. Of course we can also watch the videos in full screen and it's looking nice. So YouTube is working just fine. Let's test out Google Maps. It knows where I live, so the Google location services are working. Let me try to load a street view right here. Let's hope that it's covered. Yes, it is. So Street View is also working perfectly. We can zoom in, we can zoom out. We can also change into a compass mode, so that tells us that a magnetic field sensor is definitely on this phone. Enough about the Google apps. Let's see what Antutu has to say. Now my latest score was 46,355 points, which is very good. Let's check out some details. We can see that it's running on Android 5.0. It is a 64-bit version. We have the processor right here. We have the GPU right there, and an HD resolution, 13 megapixel output. Let's see some display settings. Let's test some multi-touch here, and we can see it is a 5-point multi-touch. And when I scroll all the way down, I can show you the sensors. And like on the last couple of phones I tested, all the apps think that a pressure sensor is there, but I believe that is not true. Let's see what we can test next. Let's go into CPU-Z. Right here we can see that it's running on 8 cores, and again we can check out the sensors. And again, a pressure sensor that is not getting any readings. But of course we're gonna test these sensors, and let's see what we have here. We have the accelerometer, and of course that is working just fine. We have a light sensor. Let's see if we can get that to work, and it's working. We have an orientation sensor, working just fine. We have the proximity sensor, also working, no problem at all. No temperature, no gyroscope. We have a sound sensor, so the microphone is right here. We have a magnetic field sensor, and it's getting readings. So a magnetic field sensor is definitely there, but I cannot tell you how accurate it actually is. And again we have the pressure sensor, but it's not getting any readings at all. So I believe the pressure sensor is just bullshit. Let's see, what else do we have here? I have Nina Mark somewhere. Nina Mark 2. I'm not gonna run the benchmark, I'm just gonna tell you what I have tested. And I got 59 frames per second, and it's an OpenGL 3.1, which is not bad at all. Let me clear some memory, and let's do one more benchmark test. Let's start Quadron Standard, run a full benchmark, and let me do a jump cut. Almost done. And the score is 21,014 points, which is a very high score. Let's also test out the Wi-Fi signal strength, and to give you an idea how good or bad it is, let me compare it to my Xiaomi Mi 4. And it is close, but the Xiaomi Mi 4 is definitely a little better. So I would say the Wi-Fi reception is pretty much average. What else can I show you? Let me go into the gallery, let me load some wallpapers. Now they're loading very fast. Let me just flick through some of the pictures, and that is very smooth. Of course we can also watch them in full screen. And I don't know if you can see this, but the colors and contrast and brightness are very good, and the black is very black and white is very white. So I really like the display a lot. We can also do a little test video. I'm gonna run my standard 1080p video, and no surprise here, it is running absolutely smoothly, no problem at all. Anything else I can test? Let me go into the music player and let me play a song to give you an idea how good or bad the media speaker is. Let me turn up the volume and let's listen to it. Now if you ask me, that is not very impressive. It could be a lot louder. What else can we test? Of course we can test USB on the go. Let me just hook up my thumb drive. If I can get this in somehow. Wrong direction. It will take a second to mount, but it's mounting, so you can see a USB on the go is also working great. Let me point out some differences between this phone and the Mlais M7. Well, obviously they have different logos printed on the back. The M7 comes with 3 GB of RAM, while the Mstar only has 2 GB of RAM. Another difference are the soft touch buttons. On the Mstar they are only printed on, while on the Mlais M7 they actually do light up. As far as I can tell, those are the only hardware differences between those two phones, but there are a couple more differences or not, but I don't think they are hardware related. For example, the memory structure is divided differently. Please check out the screenshots to see what I'm talking about. Also, the Mlais main camera is supposed to be an f2.8, while Mstar claims their camera has an f2.2. I believe the cameras are identical, they have the same sensors, so guess who's lying? The Mlais comes with a 2600 mAh battery, while Mstar claims their battery has a 3000 mAh capacity. I think the batteries are absolutely identical, they have the same weight, they have the same dimension, so again, guess who's lying? The Mlais media speaker is a lot louder than the one on the Mstar, but I think it's just a question of the maximum volume settings. Another difference, of course, are the prices. Right now the Mstar costs about $40 less. Some thoughts about this phone, and I hate to repeat myself, but in this case I'll have to because it is so much like the M7. The build quality is very good, and I also like the design very much. I think this phone is extremely stylish. The display is also very good for an HD display. Of course a full HD resolution would have been better, but nevertheless the colors, contrast, brightness and viewing angles are very good, and the whites are very white. The performance is also very good. I mean, 46K on Antutu is definitely a very high score. The Wi-Fi reception is just average. The GSM 3G and 4G reception and also the call sound quality I really can't complain about, at least not in my area and not with my service provider. The GPS is not so good. I mean, it is fast, and thanks to GLONASS it is very stable, but the reception strength is not so good and the accuracy can be a little bit jumpy. The media speaker is not very good, it is not very loud and not very clear, and there is no bass at all. The battery is also not very good. If you are a power user you might have a problem to get through the day. I did a Geekbench 3 battery test. If you're interested in the result, please check out my blog. The camera picture quality is something you need to judge for yourself. I think it takes decent pictures. But always, like always, it's in the eye of the beholder, so please make sure to check out some sample pictures on my blog. You can find a link in the video's description. The LED flash is just okay. I've seen better, but I've also seen a lot worse. The fingerprint scanner works very well, but I don't like that it's on the back of the phone. I also don't like that there is no notification LED and that the soft touch buttons do not light up. A gyroscope sensor would have been nice, even though it's not a must-have. I also don't like that they split the memory into 2 partitions. Anyway, last but not least, let me try to show you the viewing angles and do a little gaming. Thank you so much for watching and hope to see you next time.